Solo travel is something that the longer I do it, the more liberated that I feel. Because early on, a few decades ago actually, the first time I ever took a trip on my own, I was apprehensive. I was a bit frightened, and I was in my late 30s and I was going to a conference. And so while I wasn't alone on some aspects, I was still traveling to and from and, didn't have a colleague with me. So that was the very first time that I ventured out on my own, and the excitement actually took over that minimized any negative stress that I was feeling, because at the time I was still a mom of a young child, and there were a lot of things in my life, a lot of responsibilities. Even though I was divorced, I was definitely still, doing a lot of responsibilities with family and had a busy life, and having that time away while, my son was with my ex-husband and I was on a work trip, it felt more like a vacation than it did a work trip, because once I was there, I had an entire hotel room to myself. I had a bathroom to myself. I didn't have to clean up after anybody. I wasn't woken up in the middle of the night because of an emergency of some kind. You know how it goes. Any parents out there. And I've been an empty nester for a long time now. That level of freedom alone changes your life. Once you've spent many, many years parenting or caregiving, taking care of other people, to have time on your own as an adult is quite a liberating feeling. And there can be those times of loneliness, or missing the busy household and missing your child once they've grown and they're on their own. And it's like you're being reborn. It's that having kind of a second childhood. And here I am. I'm 61, and since I've began traveling more extensively, thanks to my grown son, who has experienced a lot of international travel throughout his career, and just as a young man exploring the world, that it was in 2023 that he encouraged me to okay, Mom, you need a passport. I've lived in Utah my entire life and certainly taken some trips, though it wasn't until much later in life, because of work responsibilities, family responsibilities, that I ever traveled much outside of the Western United States. And I felt quite sheltered and naive, honestly. 2020, of course, changed the world for all of us, and that was a wake-up call for me to want to travel more often, because I had been an empty nester for so long. And during the pandemic, I lost a lot of loved ones, and while grieving my lifestyle and grieving those lost, I really evaluated how I wanted to spend my time, because I have been aging solo for a number of years, and I'm embracing that lifestyle and thoroughly enjoying and often prefer my own company, which many people understand where I'm coming from, especially mature adults. other people are baffled, and that's okay. we can all agree to disagree, because how we live our lives is up to us. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not hurting anybody, and opting to live on my own is much more common than many people realize. In the US, the most recent statistic I saw is that about 28% of women in their early to mid 60s are living alone. And that comes about for any number of reasons: divorce, being widowed, choosing to live a single life. And it doesn't really matter what brought you there. It's that historical factors, as well as living life on your own terms as an adult, as a person in charge of your life. I enjoy the freedom, I enjoy the independence, and it's certainly not a place that I thought I would wind up at. I was raised, honestly, to be a wife and a mother. And for any of you out there who are thinking about the stereotypical aspects of Utah, there are some components of that in my extended family. Though, personally, for me, the most important part of my life was and is being a mother. My one and only son will forever be the light of my life. He's a person I admire, and he's been, as I said, I've been an empty nester for a long time. And he's very independent, and I'm very proud of him, and as most parents are. We think our kids are the best. And I think that's as it should be, that you have the warmest part of your heart is reserved for your children, whatever age they are. And seeing him leave the nest so early was a source of admiration for me. I do not stand on the shoulders of my child. I am proud of his accomplishments. He is a self-made man. That's not what this video is about. Let's see. Okay, I've been talking for 8 minutes. I have never made a video like this where I am on a road trip. I've made a few travel videos, and let me stop a moment and say hello. My name is Tiffany. I am the founder of Anderson Therapeutics, and I created this Aging Well channel a year ago, and began it as a bit of a legacy project, a creative outlet, and wasn't quite sure if I would stay. I wanted to give myself a year to investigate and participate on this platform, and I've been pleasantly surprised at how much I have enjoyed learning. Road tripping, solo travel, that's where I came in on this video. I am on a bucket list adventure right now, and I had planned on shooting this video yesterday when I began my trip to discuss solo travel for women, especially over 50, and where I am, over 60, because it is so damn liberating and enjoyable, and something that the longer that I do it, as I said earlier, the more I love it. Do I still enjoy taking trips with others? You betcha. I was at a conference about a year and a half ago with a colleague that I had never traveled with, didn't really know her that well. And we spent a week in Washington, D.C., another place I had never been and was always on my bucket list. And thankfully, my employer allowed us to carve in some extra time, and we got to see the sights and had a fabulous time, while also, having separate rooms and times where we could do our own thing. And so it was the best of both worlds in my mind, that I could be there with another adult, go to the conference, enjoy some sightseeing, and also have my me time, because I need to have that me time to feel sane. I think that's why solo travel is so fitting, and why more and more women, mature women, are living on their own, because we know ourselves so well, and we are the caregivers. We are the people who have been managing the household, raising the families, taking care of older adults, and juggling things that, even if you remain partnered, we have such strong skills that we can manage so many things. If and when we wind up on our own, it's not challenging. It's another step in the journey to master, because that's what we've been doing all of our adult lives, is mastering another task. Whether it was the toddlers, the multiple children, multiple jobs, taking care of a spouse, if the relationship ended, working through the divorce, being a single parent, all of those stages that some of us go through, many others don't. Though with every stage in life, especially as we get older and our bodies change. When I went through menopause early, I lovingly stepped into crone stage. I see that as a badge of honor, because I have been the child, I have been the young woman, the maiden, the grown woman, and stepping into menopause, that is a beautiful, natural stage of life. And of course there are symptoms. Of course your body feels different. And that's part of what we go through early as young girls. We went through puberty. And that stage is just as beautiful. Are there negative symptoms? Of course. Are there positive aspects? Yes. We're women. The solo travel, this liberation, and being out on the open road. I've seen more and more women on YouTube that are showing off and sharing, not showing off in a negative way, sharing their adventures. And I see that as a way to encourage other women who aren't comfortable or are curious. Because the majority of women that I speak to and that I encounter in my current field of public health, I talk to a lot of women. I've worked in clinical settings, corporate settings. My background's in health education. I'm an alternative healthcare provider and wellness coach. I hear women telling me that they're frightened, that they're nervous, they're apprehensive. And of course, because women on their own, we tend to not have as much income. I live in a state where the income for women has always historically been much lower. There is a disparity of income. And I work in education, another area where women tend to make less money. I have worked multiple jobs since I was 15, and that was how I was raised. That's what I saw every other adult doing, especially the women. And because raising children, managing a household, that was another job. And I'm an older adult who is managing chronic conditions. That is an important part-time job, and one that I am in charge of for the rest of my life. So besides the jobs that I have that are giving me income, there's the other jobs of taking care of myself that are enabling me to, number one, afford to take a road trip like this, and to be healthy and vibrant and have the courage to step out on my own and have an adventure. That's what this is about. And I'm inviting you along with me. One of the destinations that I have been wanting to visit for decades, and that is Lake Tahoe. That's where I'm headed. This adventure has been interesting so far. There's been a few hiccups, and I'm taking it all in stride because we're going to have bumps in the road, and being able to handle that on my own is another part of solo travel. I'm prepared, and I know that I can handle it, and if I need help, I know where to find it. I hope this video has been entertaining and intriguing, and then you'll join me on the next video when I give you a peek of the hotel that I'm staying at. I was at an Airbnb last night, and it was interesting. Didn't quite match the photos, but it was a discount stay, and the bed was comfortable, and there were baby goats. The baby goats made it the most enjoyable aspect of the stay. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please give this video a thumbs up. For YouTube, if you don't understand, the algorithm makes decisions on whether or not it will show the video to anyone. So subscribing, liking, and sharing truly is how YouTube works. For those of us who are new to the platform, who don't have all of the flashy bells and whistles and are just getting started. Take good care of yourself. Safe travels to you, and age well.